XRP Ledger developers announced live on this TV program that they think XRP could be $1,000 by 2030. I'm going to play the clip and then we're going to get into some details about who these gentlemen are, maybe why you should be paying attention to what they're saying, and of course, how much of a market cap are we talking about to get to $1,000 XRP?
That many people have seen, we post it on social media, etc. So for us, we're really bullish on Ripple, on XRP in particular, because of the inroads they've already made into the TradFi sector. They've been, really sort of diligent about getting tons of different licenses all across the world to actually make sure that they are positioned to own the space when the institutions actually come into blockchain, into crypto, which they're already starting to do with stablecoins. That's obviously a huge use case, and Ripple has their own RLUSD stablecoin, which is awesome, and we've already started educating our community on them. And ultimately, for us, we're just super bullish on the mission, what they're doing already in terms of, bringing all these big institutions. Hidden Road acquisition, for example, is a great example of how they're going to actually be utilizing the XRP ledger in the real world, settling trades, etc., much faster, cheaper than otherwise would be possible. And then obviously also international money payments. All of those different aspects really make it one of the formative companies of the next decade, in our opinion. And I know a lot of people have been asking for my price targets on XRP, and I think this is the first time I'll say it, but I think XRP is heading to $1,000 by 2030. So for me, it's, a super important project, and actually probably one of the most important projects out there at the moment.
XRP Ledger to $1,000 by 2030. So let's better understand who these two gentlemen are. I watched the entire clip, very well spoken. Phil Kwok is the co-founder of EasyA, also styled as EasyA app and EasyA Labs background. He's an attorney with previous roles with major law firms such as Linkladders and Sullivan and Cromwell. He ranked first and served as the lecturer at Cambridge University. He also contributes to open source Web3 projects. And then Dom Kwok is the co-founder of EasyA background. He graduated from summa cum laude of Wharton Law School of University in Pennsylvania. And we're both a Joseph Wharton and Benjamin Franklin scholar. He worked at the Blackstone Group and was part of an early team at Cloud Kitchen. So obviously these people are very well educated. They're not just some run-of-the-mill random person throwing out random prices about the XRP ledger. They are very well read in to what's happening on the XRP ledger. And I imagine these guys know some things that we don't. What is EasyA? EasyA is a Web3 education app. They have about 1 million users across Europe and the United States. So not a small feat to do. So pretty impressive. When we're talking about a $1,000 price target by 2030, what are we really talking about here? Current market cap is about 208 billion. If XRP Ledger was to reach $1,000 in market cap, you're talking about a $59.24 trillion market cap. Now remember, this isn't a one for one. $1 equals $1 in market cap. Remember, there is a multiplier effect in play here, and we don't know at what point does that multiplier effect even out. But right now, the multiplier effect for the XRP ledger on inflows and outflows could be as low as 100x and as high as 600x. So if we were to bring in $500 billion into the XRP ledger over the next 5 years, and that was at a 100x multiplier, that would be $50 trillion right there. So you have to think like how much money could come into the XRP ledger through these ETF, these spot ETFs. Bitcoin saw $150 billion in a very short time period. You're already seeing 280 million Canadian dollars being brought into the spot ETFs over in Canada. Imagine what the institutional level in the United States is going to look like. Remember, XRP is the most sought after ETF for institutions right now. Is that going to change? Could change in time, but right now the demand is very clear. The reason that demand is so high is because of you, the XRP army. You are smart, you're brilliant, you're well educated, you are amazing. And I really appreciate you being on this ride with you and learning all of this stuff with you every single day. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. It does mean a lot. Yesterday, I got to go to a barbecue and meet some people who watch my channel, and they were the nicest people on earth. And big shout out to Jordan, Jennifer, and of course, Richard. So thank you for having me. And man, I had a really great time. How extreme is this? The entire market capitalization of all cryptocurrencies combined is under 10 trillion. So just to give you some information here, we're talking about a very large market cap. Do I think XRP eventually will get to these prices? I believe that truly in my heart. I could obviously be wrong, and this guy who's summa cum laude, whatever, could be wrong as well. But we'll have to see how all of this turns out. Another big fan of the XRP ecosystem, someone who actually did a 2x leverage for his company Tucrium, Sal, is actually on another CNBC talking up XRP. You gotta love it. Listen.
Coming later on this week, there's a lot going on in cryptocurrencies. Joining me now is Sal Gilberti, the president and CEO of Tucrium Trading. This is an interesting development. You're one of the firms out there that runs a slate of ETFs, but one of them is a levered fund tied to the value of a big cryptocurrency, and that's XRP. Just what can you tell us about how much investor interest there is in XRP and, of course, a levered instrument to it?
Well, thank you, Don. There's enormous interest in XRP. They call it the XRP Army, and I realize they call it that for a reason. We launched this fund. It'll be 16 weeks tomorrow, and the money that's come in is quite extraordinary. Hundreds of millions of dollars have come in. It is our most successful fund. We're 16 years old today when I incorporated the company, coincidentally, and we've never seen a response like that.
In 16 years of running a company that does ETF funds, he has never seen this much demand for a product. Now, this is not even a spot product. This is a 2x leverage product in a 24-hour trading at best. So if you don't know what that means, you probably shouldn't be trading it. Definitely talk with a financial advisor, but this is the type of demand that is sitting out there waiting, right? This is why your BlackRocks and your bigger institutions are 100% going to come in. The reason why, you, the XRP Army, you, the customer of BlackRock, the average person who watches my channel is age 35 to 75 years old. A lot of you probably have accounts at BlackRock, and a lot of you have voices. You can stand up and say, hey, when are you going to have these products? That is the reason they got into Bitcoin ETFs, is because of you, the customer. So don't be afraid to ask your bank or institution when they are going to have spot products for XRP. The more pressure that we can put on these institutions to give the products that we want, the bigger and louder this will be.
How did you make the turn? Because the slate of products you have are mainly agricultural based, and then you decide to venture out into cryptocurrency, specifically XRP. What was the thinking there?
Well, we had filed for Bitcoin before, and we do have crypto interests, and I'm an XRP enthusiast. And when I saw the opportunity to file and get it approved, and really not holding XRP itself, but holding the derivatives so that we could leverage it and give investors what they want. They clearly want some leverage. We got a great ticker, double XRP, XXRP, and it took off. It was a big hit immediately, right out the door.
And if you could put on a forecasting hat, as somebody who looks at the fund flows, looks at the industry, where do you think else in the crypto sphere is ripe for even more activity with regard to cryptocurrencies that's outside the realm of XRP, Ethereum, and of course, Bitcoin?
Honestly, I think picking the next coin is harder than people need to catch the wave of what crypto and the blockchain is doing to business. This really is the internet in the 1990s. I think there's a sea change coming, and picking the companies that are going to use whatever cryptocurrency comes next is going to be the big trick, and the trick to big wealth.
Do you think that there is going to be an ETF boom in companies in that ecosystem?
No question.
Of course, man. Of course there's going to be a boom. This is where all the money's going. I was one of the first people to interview Sal after that he got this thing approved. That interview is in my live area. Just look for the thumbnail with his picture on it. He's a very smart, bright individual. He lays down so many things, like he was talking a mile a minute. I didn't want to interrupt him, right? He's got it going on. Also, Paul Barron, listen, really quickly. What does the XRP ledger have going for? I think the XRP ledger right now in 2025 is way more bullish than the last few years. The reason why is because the SEC and Ripple case was holding us back from innovation and people building in the XRP space. Now that XRP has the clarity, right? They got it back in 2023. Now that the case is finally coming to an end, you have the EVM sidechain that just launched. 80 different chains can be interacted with the XRP ledger. EVM compatible smart contracts. That means pretty much every builder in the blockchain space that is building on Solidity and other smart contracts are going to be able to come and build on the XRP ledger. This is the base stuff that people trained on. Tens of thousands of developers are spread out all over the world that are going to be interested in building on the XRP ledger. We're talking about infrastructure, gaming, NFTs, if people are still doing those types of things, but you're going to talk about borrowing and lending and payroll and all kinds of new things that we haven't seen before. The reason why this is so important is because all of those applications are going to require XRP. And the more XRP we can take out of circulation, the more XRP we can lock up with US treasuries and those types of things, the more demand it's going to be for XRP. The lower supply, the higher the price. That is exactly what we're trying to do here. You're talking about RLUSD demand. You're talking about Ripple getting a national banking license, right? All of these things we couldn't even think about 6 months or 12 months ago, right? All right. I've been trying to tell you guys for years, right? I've been on the XRP kick for 5 years. This is what got me in the crypto space. I watched one video on XRP 5 years ago. It changed my whole life. Do the research, put the time in. I promise you right now, the hours that you put in right now to get educated on all of this stuff will pay huge dividends down the line here. Never participate in any comments on a YouTube video that talk about a token, because those are always scams. Just be very careful, guys. I've been trying to do everything I can to clean up the comments. It is a full-time job, but bear with me. Paul Barron says, update, why banks might face legal challenge if banks call their products stablecoins without Genius Act compliance. XRP, USDC, USDT, PYUSD, which is PayPal's US dollar. Sounds like a job for John Deaton. Damn, John Deaton must be tired, man. Everyone keeps throwing him into the mix when it comes to suing people. Paul Barron is saying false advertising. The act prohibits labeling any products as payment stablecoins without Genius Act compliance. Consumer confusion using stablecoin terminology without meeting the act's consumer protection requirements when reserves, monthly audits, redemption policies could mislead consumers about products and regulatory status, competitive disadvantage to compliant issuers. Companies like Circle and PayPal and Ripple that comply with the Genius Act requirements could argue that non-compliant banks using stablecoin terminology create unfair competition. So it'll be interesting to see how all of this plays out too. Remember, Ripple and its team are working to make RLUSD ISO compliant, so RLUSD could be used in ISO messaging formats to get instantaneous settlement. Now, eGrag Crypto says, why is XRP stalling? It's clear that the Bifrost Bridge is causing XRP to hold back before its next mega pump. For over 242 days, the Bifrost Bridge has been showing stubborn resistance. A strong close above this level could potentially trigger a mega pump of 600%. Are you prepared for XRP to break through Bifrost Bridge, unleash this massive pump? XRP family, stay steady and strong. Together we rise, and soon we shall fly so high. All right, guys, I'll leave it there with you. Have a fantastic day. Thank you for liking the video and leaving a comment below. It's a pleasure to be on this journey with you. Aloha. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Please seek financial advice if you need it. Let's get back to the video.